We were talking about Hulk Hogan before, and I'm probably the biggest Hogan fan, maybe ever, up there. So I don't want to, to come off as negative before with the creative control and stuff. I mean, he's the biggest star ever in the business, so it's understandable why he had creative control, this and that. But just in your mind, though, tell us maybe not a different side of Hulk, but just why he has like creative control and why he is the game changer he was, because he revolutionized the business in the 80s with the Hogan era, the golden era. He revolutionized the business with the NWO and WCW in the mid 90s. So just to put a positive spin on the Hulkster, because I love the Hulkster.
But in this look, let's go to the first part of your question. Why did he have creative control? Let's go back in time. It's 1994. Hulk is negotiating and talking to this cat named Eric Bischoff, who he's never met,
Yeah, right.
knows nothing about.
Yep.
I was the C Squad announcer turned president of the company all of a sudden. And on the other side of that table is Hulk Hogan, who's been in the business now for 14, 16, 17 years, has become 1994 at not too long ago had become the face of professional wrestling, period. Never before has a professional wrestler made the cover of Sports Illustrated, and reached that level of mainstream kind of crossover appeal. But now that same cat, Hulk Hogan, sitting across from this kid he's never heard of before, has demonstrated no abilities in this industry other than being a half-ass decent announcer and an adequate play-by-play guy. And now he's running a wrestling company. And by the way, he's running a wrestling company that has a history of being a clusterfuck creatively, because that's what WCW was creatively. It had no one in WCW before me had established themselves as anything remotely close to a big time storyteller, creator. Nobody. And I love Dusty Rhodes. In many ways, he was a mentor to me. Ton of respect, but Dusty wasn't able to break through. Dusty wasn't able to turn WCW around to be anything more than a real minor league distant number 2 to WWF. So if you're Hulk Hogan and you're coming in with all this success and you're sitting across from someone you don't know who represents a company that's never done it, don't you kind of want to protect your character and your trademark, which, by the way, Hulk Hogan owned? Or are you just going to walk in and say, here, write me a check and I'm going to give everything to you. And if you want to bury my character and bury my trademark and make me completely useless in the future, have at it. You're not going to do that, especially if you're smart. And especially if you're smart and you've got an even smarter attorney. You're going to protect that asset. How do you protect it? You have the ability to decide what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. No one's going to come to Hulk Hogan in 1994 once we sign him and say, joke's on you, dude. Here's what we want you to do. We want you to come out as Mr. Nanny. We're going to shoot an angle with you in a tutu. He had to protect himself against that. You laugh because that's kind of funny, but they brought Jorge Gonzalez out in a fucking monster suit. They made Kevin Nash come out in a dunce cap, like the Wizard of Oz. There were like hunchback midgets and stuff. So it's not like what I'm saying. Yes, it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of true. That's why Hulk Hogan had creative control. And that's why I don't blame him for wanting it. And why I didn't push back against it. I don't blame him. Didn't blame him then, and certainly don't blame him now. And that was the only time, as I said in the documentary, that it created an issue for me. It's not like he used it all the time. He didn't. No. I think the fact that he had creative control, in this case, it was devastating because that was Hulk's call. And it was my call to either fight it, which would have been unsuccessful, especially given I only had a couple hours to get through it. I could either have fought it. I could have tried to compromise, which I did. Or I could have supported, which ultimately what I had to do. I don't think it's that hard. It is for people that are wrestling fans that just don't care, or don't, I shouldn't say don't care, but just don't understand the complexity of the wrestling business, especially at that level when you're dealing with talent like that.